All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming, and for those who are coming back, welcome again. And so my name is Wong, and I'm going to be chairing this workshop. And so today we have an honor to invite Professors Charoula Angeli. So she's from the University of Cyprus, and so yesterday we had the first seminar, and today we're going to go through the workshop activities and the topics of understanding and integrating artificial intelligence in education. So I believe this is a very emerging topic set, within the interest of many of us. And so whether you're coming from computer science or other subjects, and I guess the AI is one of the hottest topics these days. And so today we have this privilege to hear from Professor Angeli. And so let me just introduce Professor Angeli before I turn the time to her. So Professor Charoula Angeli is a professor in the Department of Education at the University of Cyprus, where she specializes in instructional technologies. Her work is compiling intersections of technology and education, significantly contributing to the technological and pedagogical content knowledge framework. So we had a very good discussion yesterday for those who are here, so I'm sure you got a lot of ideas. And so she was notably advocated for enhancing teacher skills to integrate technology into the teaching practices effectively. And I believe, her profiles can go on and on and on. So, but I guess you can, read more of her work online, and also her, virtual introduction. So I guess that today the whole idea is to have a workshop so that we can have more interaction. So without further ado, let's welcome Professor Angeli.
Good morning, Dr. Gary. Thank you so much. It's nice to be back. It's nice to see faces that I saw yesterday. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Good. Okay. Good morning to everybody who is watching us from their offices or elsewhere. Today, we will talk about artificial intelligence for education. So we will see a bunch of tools that you can use to actually integrate them into the teaching and learning process from the teacher's perspective and also from the learner's perspective. One of the things that I'm very interested in these days is productivity. And when you see these tools, you can see how productive you can become. So lots of the tools that we will be looking at today is how to increase our own productivity, but as teachers, but at the same time, I will guide you through a model that you can have in mind every time you have learners in the classroom. So what do the learners can do with the tool? What do you do with the tool? So it's a symbiotic relationship, so to speak, and I will try to focus on the things that really make your life easier, and I will explain to you the time that you take to prepare for your lessons versus the time that you take to interact with actual learners in the classroom. Okay, so let's look at some of the more theoretical stuff, just to begin. Please scan it. This is where you can find the materials for today's workshop. Thank you very much. Just scan it and it will take you directly. Let me guide you step by step. Got it? Excellent. All right, and this will take you directly to a Google Classroom space. And this is our space for today. You can see here all the notes that I have prepared for you and some of the tools that we will be using. So you're registered for this classroom and everything is here. Were you able to get in the classroom? All right. Once you go into the classroom, go to introductions, voting, And please tell us who you are and submit your information because I want to get in touch with you after the workshop is over. So just type in your name. Thank you so much. And you can see the people who are with us this morning, just to have a sense of the community of the seminar. And of course, the people who join online can also do the same thing. Thank you so much. You can also put your email on the list so we keep in touch. This is a tool called Mentimeter. Mentimeter. It's a very nice tool for increasing interactivity with your students in the classroom. So they respond and you show all the contributions from the audience. It's good for techniques such as, for example, brainstorming, group work, presenting their findings in the group. It's very nice for seeing what the other people did in the classroom during the lesson. So you have a sense of everything that the students are doing during the lesson. Okay.
We try to log in the Google Classroom, but it instructed us to log in Google, but then after that we got stuck. So I'm just wondering how we
just sign.
I mean the Google Classroom.
You want the Google Classroom? Okay, let me show you the QR code again. Yeah, this is, feel free to ask me any questions. This is a workshop today, so we will be doing a lot of technical things. Make sure that if you can get the code or something, just ask me to show it again. Okay, QR code here.
I did. Don't hear. I'll have to go through. You can see what thread. Absolutely, it's a Chrome.
Are we okay? No worries. Just take your time. Yeah.
Scanning with the phone, but they have the device. So how do they transfer that station? So
okay, if they if you're scanning with your phone but you have the devices, okay, so just go to your device, log on to your Gmail and
yes.
Okay, and once if you did it with your phone, I'll show you the process here. So log on, then go to on your device, just do www.google.com, go here, then go to the right side of the screen, and I need to be showing that. Let me share this for the audience online. Okay, so go to Google, then on the right side over here where I show you, where the arrow is, you will see the Google Apps over here, the 9 dots. Just click on the dots, and then scroll down, and you will see Classroom. So click on the Classroom. If you don't have Classroom, you need to get it from the Google Space, but most probably you will have it. And you come to your dashboard, click on the title of the seminar of the workshop today, Understanding and Integrating AI. And this will give you access to the materials. So we're here. Yeah, excellent, got it. And let me get rid of some of the notifications here, just hide them. Okay, so the space is clean. Okay, excellent. So this is how you access your Google Classroom. Just go to Google, then go to Google Apps, locate Classroom, click on it, and the dashboard will come up with all the classrooms that you have registered for.
I think there's a comment on that.
There are comments and questions. Okay, let's see. Great.
You need to show the link again. The Google Classroom link.
Sorry, I joined late. Is there a link? Yes, there is a link.
I think in the stream there is a class code. You can just type in a class code.
Yes, there is a class code, but do they know how to join a class? That's the question. Sure. Here is the code again. Please scan it. Doesn't help. All right, scan the code now. Oh, class code is fine. Great. So Rachel knows how to create a classroom. Yeah, just so the text. Thank you. So Rachel, you're fine? All good. Excellent. Everybody's in? Good? Okay, let's move forward. A few things about AI, and then we can get on with our very nice applications for today. What is AI? Do we know? Yes, AI is a branch of computer science. We have some computer science people here. Dr. Ken is here, and he knows more than anybody else in this room because that's where he specializes. And I think he's going to be giving a few workshops next week.
A seminar and a workshop some point this month, yeah.
Sometime, okay, at some point this month, Dr. Ken will be giving a number of AI workshops. Please join him. All right, so it's a branch of computer science, and these systems are able to perform complicated tasks, usually tasks that require a human mind. So we're talking about human intelligence simulated basically by a computer agent. We've been using AI systems for quite some time now. For example, we know Siri, we know Alexa, right? Amazon's Alexa. We know Netflix recommendation system. So we've been using them, even Google Maps. Even Google Maps has AI capabilities in it. So they've been around for quite some time, but not for education. So I guess the new thing about us as educators is the value of these tools for teaching and learning. I would like you to have an AI timeline so you know exactly when all these efforts began. Back to 1950s, we know Alan Turing's computing machinery and intelligence. In the 1960s, you know about Eliza. Remember Eliza, the first chatbot? I mean, I remember when I was a computer science student, but a million of years ago, you know, we were using Eliza in my AI class. 1980s, this is a period where we didn't have enough funding, yeah, and not too much research came out. But do you remember 1997 when the Deep Blue agent beat chess champion Kasparov? Do you remember that? It was in the news, it was all over. And And from 2010s onward, yes, we have the interest, the renewal of interest in these systems. So since 2010, we've seen a lot of these machinery systems that use very specialized algorithms such as machine learning and all these special techniques that computer scientists use to train these systems. So here's where we are. It's so nice that we have so many people joining us from home. So just a bit on history. Now, let's look at the affordances of these tools. Why do we want to use them for education? We've been talking a lot about learner-centered systems. We've been talking a lot about students who are not at the same point of development. We're talking about ways of adapting instruction and personalizing learning. But if you think about the things that a teacher has to do in the classroom, you can tell that it's very difficult for a teacher to satisfy the needs of all learners. And learners have different needs simply because there are a lot of differences amongst them. Even differences in terms of processing cognitive information. So what do you do if you want to satisfy the needs of all learners and not just the 67%? If you think about the bell curve, you know, the bell curve, 68%, it's the mean, in the median value, and you try to teach for those students, but you leave behind the 16% who are gifted, good students, and the 16% who need more help. So these systems, they provide you with lots of affordances to personalize learning. So, and what for us today, personalized learning. How can I tailor basically learning to individual student needs? That's one affordance of AI systems. When you personalize instruction, then you allow them to move using their own way of learning and their own speed of learning. So you allow them to adapt their own learning path. And this is a big plus for us. And remember during COVID, when we used these online spaces, when you can decide how to flip classroom learning and decide what is important to cover in the classroom and what's important to take at home. So flip learning, it's a nice model when you have to use these systems, because you cannot do everything in the classroom, right? So you need to decide what they will take at home and what you will cover in the classroom. We cover whatever is difficult to be understood, right? We don't do a lot of lecturing, a lot of monologues in the classroom anymore. We do problem solving. We do projects in the classroom. The lectures and the notes and all of those things, the readings, they can do in the class at home. And when they come to you next day, then you explain those things to them. Okay, accessibility. Yeah, we want them to have access to all these tools. We want them to be able to, as I said before, to adapt these learning technologies. So accessibility is extremely important. These tools are accessible 24/7, and they're there, and most of them are free. Of course, you know that to have the full capacity of the affordances of the tool, you have to buy a membership, you have to subscribe, but it's not that expensive anymore. It's not expensive. And productivity, efficiency. I've been using ChatGPT, a tool that we will see today, for quite some time now, and I can tell how much more productive I became. Not for the things that I need to publish and the things that I need to take somewhere, but for the administrative tasks. just write a quick email, make a list of something that allows me to move forward to become more productive. The donkey work, as I say, yeah, a lot of the donkey work that you can do with these tools. Okay, so these are basically the role of these are the things about AI that will help us become better. And let me show you my conceptual framework when it comes to learners and AI. I had a meeting 2 weeks ago with the Minister of Technology and Innovation in Cyprus. And he invited a lot of people who work in the public schools of Cyprus. And we had a conversation with them. They're very, they're very careful in integrating tools like this because data privacy issues, basically. However, they didn't make any effort to really understand what these tools are. And one of the things that they said is that we are seriously thinking about these tools, but we do not have a framework to guide our integration process. So what I suggested for the people who came, the minister and the principals and the supervisors, the administrative people who came, I said, think of AI in terms of an enabler, a tool that will enable you to empower your learners by automating things. You want to automate things just to make things more efficient. So what do you want to automate? Data analysis, yeah, representations, things that you can look at and make some conclusions. So you can automate stuff like that. You do not have to do everything by hand. Besides, if you do everything by hand, you will make mistakes for sure. Number 2, think of AI as your cognitive partner. We're having a conversation with Dr. Ken yesterday, and he said, talk to it. You can talk to it. It's like a partner. That's exactly what it is. It is a cognitive partner. It will allow you to think with the tool, help me solve a problem, let me explore a new idea. However, we know that somewhere in that space, you can see hallucination effects. In other words, it will give you stuff that may not be correct. How do you know that what it's giving you is not correct? Well, that's when you have to think critically about the data and about everything that gives you. So I think that for years now, the school system has been trying really hard to engage students in critical thinking. But because their priority is to cover the content, right, the curriculum, basically, they do not really engage students in critical thinking activities. But now, with the integration of these tools, you must think critically. Otherwise, you may be sharing wrong information with your students, with colleagues, and stuff like that. How do you know if it's correct? Well, you have to go through a process of validating whatever it gives you. So that's when you can engage in a critical thinking dialogue with the tool and with the help of your teacher. So remember yesterday we said that our philosophy is not to replace anybody. We don't want to replace anybody, the teachers. We want to empower the teachers. We want the tools to enable us to interact with spaces that we couldn't before, interact with other people, engage in activities that we couldn't have access to with these tools. In other words, our philosophy is enhancement, is enrichment. I try to become better with these tools. So AI as a mediator to think critically, AI as my cognitive partner, AI as an enabler. Yeah? Okay, so we teachers have to have these frameworks for us to be able to design learning spaces with these tools. Because at the center of these learning spaces is learning, not delivery, learning, and also the student. And the student has prior knowledge, the student has feelings, the student has strategies, the student has dispositions. Yeah, all these are very important. So you need to think about the whole person before you design these spaces. And of course, the issue of ethics. Ming yesterday, she was talking about ethics and about AI literacy. And we said that we will do something about developing course materials for AI literacy. Very important. So what do we need to teach our students? These are the issues that maybe make people a bit skeptical about the integration of AI in the classroom. So what are the issues here? Data privacy. We need to ensure that student data is well protected and used ethically. We need to make an effort to understand the bias and fairness of the AI algorithms. This is not an easy thing to do. I had a very nice conversation with Ali this morning, trying to understand how ChatGPT works and whether, and Dr. Ken, maybe you can share your insights with us. We will try to understand if what I'm giving the tool is storing, the tool is storing my information. And we're trying to see if it uses our data to train or to retrain itself, because that's dangerous. For example, think about an exam. If you put in the exam questions into the tool and you process that, you ask the tool to process, give you some feedback on the validity of the questions, if they're fair questions, stuff like that. Does it keep your question set for the test?
So there is a setting where you kind of, you could say, don't keep anything. And I think they also, most of the ones say something like they only keep it for 30 days to sort of improve the product. But the other thing is that most of what this data is used for is to come up with, to understand better what people think is a better answer.
Exactly.
So it's not as much the facts, that's kind of the pre-training that has nothing to do with what the user's doing.
Right.
But to learn, what kind of better responses to user.
Exactly. Actually, Ali said that too this morning. It's not a matter of keeping your data and showing your data to other people. It's a matter of training itself how to give you the best answer based on what you're asking and what you're providing. So when you have a teacher professional development course on AI literacy, we need to explain these things to the teachers. And this is very important. That's why AI literacy is very important, because they need to understand what is data and how it handles data and how it protects data and what it can do with your data. Because people think that it keeps everything, and it shows if you inquire with the same prompt or a similar prompt, it will give you my data, but that's not the issue. And these false conceptions, basically, it's what keeps the people back, and they don't really accept the tool, and they're very skeptical in using these tools. So that's why, Meg, you are very right, a course on AI literacy during a teacher professional development seminar that we can actually share with them these things. Excellent. So transparency, we talked about that. And to understand how AI makes decisions. Very nice. So actually these discussions about AI brings together computer science people and education people. And it's so nice because it's a multidisciplinary thing that we all have to come to sit around the table and discuss these things and prepare research programs, and it's very, very nice. So, so the schools have to have, I think, specialized committees right, of people who can really engage in these dialogues with the academic community. So again, a collaboration between universities and the schools.
So there's some real limitations about how much we could understand how these really big ones
Exactly, yeah.
work. And you could even ask them, how did you make that decision? And it'll give you a plausible answer that's, but there's a question of whether that's true for humans too. If you ask them, how did you make that decision? They might produce a justification that really doesn't match what was really going on in their brain.
Right.
So,
right.
But it is, very active area of research to trying to get more insights into how it's actually making decisions.
So Dr. Ken is saying that we can actually ask the tool how to make that decision. We may not be able to understand 100% how it did it, but it will give you an idea of how it produced the outcome.
Also, like it mimics, because they're mimicking human in conversation. So many times we ourselves don't understand how we think. So then the tool itself, it tries to produce this naive epistemology of how it thinks.
Based on how we think.
Yeah, so it basically carries the same naiveness at times.
As humans do. Yeah.
Yes. So it may not necessarily understand how it. That's we will never know.
Okay, we will never know.
But based on its understanding, whether it knows
right
how it works.
Exactly. So we will never know how it did it.
We know how it can work, like scientifically, if we break it down, but we never know whether it knows.
It knows
that
right.
How it works.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more
right.
Like it has a cognition. So does it know how its cognition works? That's
right. Yeah, it doesn't have metacognition. Yes. So the tool doesn't have metacognition.
Yes.
Oh, it would be too dangerous if the tool had metacognition. Right?
No, there is.
Thank God it doesn't have metacognition, just cognition. Okay. Very nice. All right. Let me tell you a few things about teachers. Do you know that teachers spend about 10.5 hours of preparation? No? Okay. You spend about 6.5 hours in evaluation and feedback. Yes. We spend about 3 hours in professional development. We can either come here as you did today, as we all did today, or it could be self-directed from home, self-study. We spend 5 hours on administrative and other tasks. Email, announcements, newsletters, communication with the parents, stuff like that. So 25 hours every week is spent on administration. And then 25 more hours you spend in classroom interaction. You interact with your students in the classroom. So 50 hours every week on stuff like this. What we're trying to do today is to cut down your 25 hours of sheer administration and preparation. So let's see if we can be productive, more productive, and reduce the amount of time that we take to prepare, to evaluate, to give feedback, and do administration. Yes? If we can reduce the amount of time, then we have more time to support our students and to really engage in meaningful learning activities with them. Because we know that these 25 hours are hectic hours. You need to go out and do a lot of things. Can I reduce this amount of time? Can I become more productive? All right. Before we go to the tools, I want you to make a note of these learning phases. When we design learning spaces, we need to keep in mind that teaching and learning is a systematic process. It is not something that you go in and you just do whatever you want. You have to follow a progression of activities, right? And basically this progression mimics a learning progression. You have learning objectives in mind. So basically what we do, just to give you an idea of the phases that one has to keep in mind, is that first you go into the classroom and you trigger student interest, right? You tell them what the lesson, today's lesson, would be about. You make them enthusiastic. You show how the topic is important for real life. you try to bring authentic examples, and try to situate basically today's lesson in everyday life. Right? If you go into the classroom and say, okay, open page 15, please. Today we are talking about the, the Second World War, something like that. This won't work. They will be sleepy, unmotivated, they will not participate. But if you wake them up, trigger their interest, make them feel enthusiastic, and also use your voice to do that, then you will succeed. All right, so trigger student interest, energize them. Number 2, start with them at the center of the teaching process. How? Diagnose learners' conceptions. Ask them, what comes to mind when you hear photosynthesis? Yeah, Kennedy, I saw you and I said, okay, photosynthesis. He's in science education. Photosynthesis. What does it come to your mind when you hear the word, right? So it's brainstorming. Give them a Padlet like we did yesterday, Mentimeter, even Google Docs. Yeah, like a very simple application where they can all contribute. And immediately you will see your screen populated with ideas. It's very important for you to know where you begin your lesson, because you can see a lot of things that they will write. Some of them will be wrong. Some of them will be correct. When you diagnose misconceptions or alternative conceptions, yeah, sometimes they are so wrong that we don't want to tell our students, oh, this is not good, this is wrong. Then you say, okay, this is an alternative way of thinking about it. It's a polite way of just telling them that your idea is very far from the scientific one, right? So you need to know how to, talk to them. So once you see their conceptions on the wall of the screen, then immediately you know what to do. This is where experience comes in, because the starting point of a lesson is not always the same one. Yeah, you may be at home thinking about the design of today's lesson, but when you go into the classroom, you take another route, right? Because you have an audience in front of you, and the audience says something else. So once you diagnose conceptions, you will see the extent of their misconceptions. And the next phase is an interesting one. You have to destabilize their misconceptions. Do you know what cognitive conflict is? Cognitive conflict is a very nice word. When you want to impose temporarily cognitive conflict, otherwise they will become frustrated if it's prolonged, and you don't want to make them frustrated. What do? You present in the classroom things that are not in agreement with their conceptions. So they say something, and then you do something in the classroom, you explain in a different way, and immediately they can see that, oh, that's a different idea than mine. So basically, you allow them to engage in thinking in terms of who is correct, who has the correct answer. So it's just a conflict. It's a cognitive conflict. They don't know who has the right answer, but the importance of the tactic is that once they realize that they may not have the right answer, then they become more attentive, because they want to know the right answer. And then you engage them in a long process of knowledge construction. They have to construct knowledge. And during this learning path, they will discover the correct answer. You never give them the right answer, right? We do not deliver ready-made knowledge to them. We make them construct their knowledge. And remember the verbs yesterday? Do they problem solve? Do they collaborate? Do they discover? Do they inquire? Do they read and discuss? Do they debate? So everything you do in the classroom, you need to make sure that gives them a very active role in learning. I'm not saying that you will be doing this every day to this extent. Don't get me wrong, because I know you have content to cover. But what we're saying is that when you find that specific topic that you identify based on your TPTK knowledge, that this is a good topic for me to teach this way, then you do it this way. So it's not a matter of doing, these things every day. Nobody does this, but it's knowledge that you have and that you put in practice when you need to, right? Excellent. So the next step is when they construct knowledge, make sure you provide them with a new context, because we are interested in transferring learning to new context. They need to be able to apply the knowledge in a new context, not in the same context that they constructed, the knowledge in a different context, right? Okay. And the last step is having a conversation with them, debriefing. What did you learn today? What did you think at the beginning? So project the Padlet with the initial conceptions. Go back and filter, ask them to filter out their misconceptions. Do you want to keep your initial conception? Do you want to change it? Do you want to add a new conception? Yeah? So it's really a very nice process. It takes time, you know that, but it's a very, very valuable learning process. So keep these phases in mind every time you want to do a learning design. Question for you. Who uses ChatGPT? To some extent. Are you experts in ChatGPT? Oh, you're sure, Dr. Ken? You probably know how to program the environment. Yes, nice. No, we're not experts, right? Okay, let's do a little bit. What we're interested is in prompt engineering. How do we engage in dialogue with the tool? And you need to keep in mind the person as a whole, and we want to act in a way that it takes into consideration, for example, age, feelings, yeah, if it can change the language, rights, different things. And I will ask you to do a few things. So, do you have it on your devices? Should we give the instructions for the people who are watching us from home? So go to the internet and type, is it www.po.com, whatever you see on my screen. Just type that in. For the people who do not have the tool, when I came on Saturday, I was eager to go to my ChatGPT 4, which I paid, because it's my cognitive partner for everything, and I couldn't access it from Hong Kong. I said, oh my God, what's going on? And then Dr. Gary Ali explained to me that it's not available like it is in Cyprus, but there are ways to get it. So thank you, Ali, for the instructions yesterday. Go to po.com. Let's go with there. Sign up. They need to sign up, right? Sign up and wait for the tool to send you. Are you going to get an email?
You get an email and you have to link your phone number.
Right. Just follow instructions. It's very easy to follow. Just follow the instructions, sign up, follow instructions, and it will bring you to this page that you see here. Our colleagues from from Zoom, please write your questions. If you are not able, there you go. Oh, thank you. Speaker camera. Po.com, log in. We gave it to you there. Let us know by sending us a reaction that you are ready to move on. The online audience, just give us a reaction to know that you are on track. Thank you, Helen. Esther, so nice.
Well, not that you can work on.
Yeah, you first, because then you can have you promise.
It is much better than chart 3.5. Much better because I was playing with it yesterday, last night. I didn't run into any hallucination effects last night, nothing, nothing. And yeah.
Even the turbo one, much better.
Oh, much better. Yeah, it is much better. 3.5 gives you a lot of invalid information, but this version is very nice, very nice. So I was up all night playing with it, basically. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm moving on. All right, let's talk about prompt engineering. A lot of the good things that you will get depends on how you write your prompt, your question. So prompt engineering is the initial message with the instruction that you will give to the chatbot to start the conversation. Dr. Ken says, talk to it as your friend. Talk to it as you have a human being in front of you. Like every morning I say, good morning. And he replies back. I can't decide if it's a he or a she.
You could give it a he.
I will give it a, yeah, we will show you how to create your own chatbot in a little bit and train your own chatbot for your own things.
So a couple of points. First up, there's even been a little bit of statutory that if you're polite to it, it actually does a little better because it's picking up
Yes.
on it's sort of all the training data where people are polite, they tend to have better conversations. But I was just reading, there's a brand new issue of, this Hello World is a magazine for first teachers, and they go on and on, many places saying, oh, it's terrible that the children anthropomorphize. You got to get them clear that this is not a thinking, living being or something. And it's very confusing because the best way to interact with it is as if it's a thinking, living being, even if you got to somehow get across the idea that it's not there yet, but it's still the best way to interact with it.
So be polite, be nice to it, because then the outcome changes, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask it to be empathetic and show feelings, then the outcome will show feelings. So really work with it as if you have a human being next to you. Okay, so how do we prompt it? You can type in a single statement. For example, create a lesson on the topic of social media. This is just an example for you. Used in middle school, right? You need to be specific. Otherwise, the output would be too generic and it may not suit your needs. So give it context, basically, as Ali would say. Contextualize your prompt in the situation that you want to help you with, to get the help that you want. So make sure that it's in middle school. Make sure that, I sometimes say, create a lesson for about 2 hours, I say sometimes. Yeah, and then it gives me something that I can actually cover in 2 hours. If I say create a full day, 7 hour, full day workshop, oh my God, it's gonna give me so much information that I can actually build on it, right? It's not like I'm gonna copy exactly what it gives me, but I can use it. I can use it as a skeleton. I can use it as an outline, and I can build or enhance onto it. All right, so make sure you contextualize, say something about the situation that you want to use this information. Then you can type in a question. For example, can you find 3 engaging activities for 6th grade lessons on social media use? Can you find 3 engaging activities? And we'll give you 3 engaging activities. Last night, I wanted to come up with an energizer. And I said, can you please give me an energizer for this topic? You know what energizers are, right? You do a lesson, you see that your students are becoming tired and motivated, and you want to get them up on their feet and do something. So he gave me a treasure hunt game. Yeah. You know, prepare these cards, give them the cards, you know, hide things around in the classroom, ask them to go around in the classroom and locate those items. It's very nice. And then you can write several questions, but I think that it's better not to include too many things at the same prompt. Yeah.
Rest. So you can create separate sections.
You can create separate sections.
And then you can tell it to link sections. So for example, you create a section called description. And then you say, and then you create a section called output. And you say, use this description, and then generate the output based on the template provided.
Exactly. So you can give it, Alex says you can write different statements that you want the tool to find information on, but you can ask the tool to categorize basically the answer based on subheadings, for example. So it all depends on how well you do your prompt engineering. Now, one of the things that I did yesterday, I did this. Can I find prompts, ready-made prompts? You can, actually. For example, if you go to these engines that I give you here, and you can try them later in your own time, these are sites that can help you learn how to write these prompts. And it will tell you, do these, don't do these. Let me give you an example. So you can train yourself on how to generate these prompts. But I think a better way is to ask ChatGPT how to best prompt it. So let's do it. Let's go to ChatGPT and type in this. I'm changing windows here. Okay. Please type the following. The prompt that I tried was, please guide me in how I can prompt you better. How can I prompt you better? Just ask the tool. Please guide me in how I can prompt you better. Press the arrow. Let me get my tools here. Okay, the red dot that you see on the screen, it's my cursor. So push on the blue arrow. And here is the answer. Use specific keywords. Include relevant keywords to help me understand the context, again, the context of your inquiry. Number 2, break down complex questions. So break them down, because this will make it easier for the tool to address each component individually. So learn how to decompose a complex question. This is computational thinking, right? You have a difficult thing, a complicated thing, break it down, decompose it, so you can address it, you know, in units. Provide examples or scenarios. So you can actually train the tool, so to speak, by providing examples. The examples will make the tool understand the context better. Clarify what kind of output you want. What do you want? You want something in different steps? Do you want something in one paragraph? Do you want subheadings? So what's the format of the output that you want the output to appear? Be patient. If you don't like the response, just say try again. Just say no, what I meant is this. And be clear in what you're asking. Okay, so let's do a few things. What do you want to do today? Please create a lesson plan for teaching photosynthesis. And then we need the context in a third grade classroom. I'm going to teach photosynthesis in a third grade classroom. If you want to make it more specific, just go here. Please create a 45-minute lesson. 45 minutes is one teaching period in Cyprus schools. The same here? Yeah, everywhere. 45 minutes is one teaching period, right? So give me the lesson plan for one period. How to teach photosynthesis. Do enter. Exploring photosynthesis, how plants make food. Grade level, third grade, duration 45 minutes. And listen now, look, objectives. They will understand the process, they will identify, blah, blah. The materials that you will need for that lesson, markers, visual aids, plants, the procedure. So introduction, 5 minutes. This is how to trigger their interest. Concept development, 15 minutes. It's really nice because it gives you the time per phase, basically. What do? Hands-on activity, build a photosynthesis puzzle for knowledge development. Recap and discuss, 5 minutes. Conclusion and reflection, 5 more minutes. And then the nice thing, this is what I like. Sometimes you make good time during teaching and you have more time. And if you want to extend, right? Or if you have students who are, quicker, faster than other students, then you can do extensions. You can ask them to do contact, walk, to observe plants. You can integrate technology by showing educational videos. You can encourage students to create simple drawings, and you can adjust time allocation based on the needs of the class. Okay, now, can you make adaptations to this? Say, what kind of adaptations? Any ideas how to make this more adaptive? Say you have low ability students and high ability students. Because remember, one of the roles is to differentiate and to adapt. How can it help you design 2 ways of teaching this? One for the low-level students and one for the high-end students. Any ideas of how to write the prompt? Try it first, see if you like. How would you prompt it? Play with it. Just write something about In my class, I have 25 students. Just give it the context, just give it a short story. 10 of my students are students with learning difficulties. Can you please give me a different version of the lesson plan that you gave me above, Okay, write that, let's see. So please adapt the above lesson to satisfy the needs of students who have learning difficulties. Let's see if he can give us a different one. All right. How plants make food specifically for students with learning difficulties. It remembers the parameters that we gave above. So it's still for third grade. It is 45 minutes, right? And let's see what it did. Begin by creating a welcoming and inclusive environment. Encourage students to feel comfortable and encouraged to participate. Can you see now the difference in how the two things about the environment and the climate of the classroom? You need to design a safe environment and an encouraging environment, an all-inclusive, as we say, environment for these students. So if you want to know the difference between the previous one and this one, just type it in Ask the Tool. What are the differences between the two lessons? Just ask this question. The two lessons differ in their instructional approaches. Modifications and considerations for students with learning difficulties. So what are the key differences? How can you make this easier for these students to understand? You need to simplify language and visual supports. Yes, usually low ability students are very field dependent. If you are field dependent, it means that you cannot process complex visual materials. And I'm very surprised because you picked up on that. Visual supports. The visualization that you show in the classroom must be really simplified for these students to understand, because they will not be able to pick out important information from complicated visuals. So keep the visuals very simple. You need to have it says hands-on activity modification. You need to make sure that students with learning difficulties may adhere to different learning styles. And these students may need to be able to have more hands-on activities. So bring concrete materials in your classroom, manipulatives. Bring them in the classroom because they are discrete thinkers. So they may need to touch things, do things with materials in order to understand these ideas. Inclusive grouping, modify basically the lesson by emphasizing inclusive grouping, and in other words, mix and match basically your groups by including a variety of abilities. Isn't it nice? Tell you exactly what to do. And this is exactly what the literature says. So I feel confident because I know the literature. And because I've been researching learning differences and developing instructional designs for these students. And it's 100% right. Right, yeah. So yes.
I did ask it, could you suggest some some videos for these third graders, and it described good ones. It even said, you know, the title and made it, but then all the URLs were broken. But then when I searched for the title, Google found. I don't know if the exact same ones, but they were, you know, there's even a photosynthesis on them for, you know,
Right.
children and all. So you got to be a little careful about, you know,
You need to,
asking it for resources. It makes up URLs sometimes.
right, so, yes, if you ask for specific resources, give me an article, give me a video, it will give you these links that you can actually go to. But some of these links actually do not work. So a hallucination here is that it's intelligent one to make up things. So you will get links, you'll get resources, but they may not be valid actually. Yes. One of the tactics that you can use to make sure that it gives you valid information, you can ask it to give you the reference. So please explain to me inclusive learning by pointing out some bibliographical references, and it will give you references. But then again, the references may not exist. Yes. Okay, I didn't experience that with this version of ChatGPT.
There is a way to go around it.
Yeah,
With this.
for this version, I didn't run into this problem. With ChatGPT 3.5, I often run into that problem. Never with ChatGPT 4. Never.
So one thing you can do is, because we know what type of data it was trained on, so you can specify sources from where it has to refer the information. So one thing you can ask it to use, for example, is an easy way, you can ask it to use Encyclopedia Britannica, for instance.
Excellent. Yes.
So then it will, because it has been trained on that purpose as well, so the context becomes very specific.
Very good.
And
Very good.
it will refer back to those articles, but around 2021 period. And then it will give you information that is from that particular source, and it will tell you where it's coming from. You can verify.
All right. So one suggestion is, since we're trying to have contextualized prompts, if you know the source, for example, Wikipedia, ask the tool to draw from that database. So please use Wikipedia too. If you know the source, just give the name of the source. So you reduce basically the chance of giving you invalid information, and it will do its best actually to draw from that database. Yeah, so contextualize. Make everything meaningful within a context.
Another thing you can do is reverse prompting. So it generates the output, and then you ask it, what was the prompt?
Excellent. Here's another good idea. Prompt it in any way you want, and it will give you the output. Then copy paste that output and feed the output back to ChatGPT, and then ask the question: is this valid information? Is this a good idea? Please evaluate this outcome.
Instead, you ask it, give me the prompt for this.
Or give me the prompt. What do you think the prompt was? So this is called reverse prompt engineering.
And then you compare your prompt with the prompt it gave, and then you see whether
excellent.
If they are similar, then most likely the information is accurate.
Okay, so again, let me repeat for our colleagues in the online space. Just do the following to make sure that you have valid information. Prompt it in any contextualized way, and it will give you an output. Now, what we're trying to do is to think critically and also use some techniques to triangulate, in other words, to say something about the validity of this output. So feed it back, copy the output that it gave you, and feed it back to the prompt where you write the prompt. Just do copy paste in the prompt, and then ask the tool, what is the prompt that you think we wrote to get this output? And we'll give you a prompt. Then compare and contrast the two prompts, the prompt that you initially typed in and the prompt that ChatGPT generated. So this is a good way of triangulation, just to make sure that we speak the same language and it's the same conceptual understanding. So these are good techniques for really taking some steps in validating the output if you are not sure about the validity of the results.
I guess one thing I can add to that is I think we are still in in a particular situation where a lot of academic informations are being protected by those publishers.
Yes.
And I guess for a lot of researchers here who are very interested in using the ChatGPT to assist their research, I think this is a boundary where we're still not being able to cross it until these publishers are going to release more information beyond the open access. But still, I mean, there's of course behind the algorithm, I'm sure there's a lot of different types of information being shared to the.
So Dr. Gary says, say you want to be conduct a meta-analysis. Let's just take a good example. Meta-analysis. Meta-analysis, is good. It's good if you can do a meta-analysis. It's not easy to do one. So to do a meta-analysis, you need to have access to a lot of articles, and then you have to go and do some complicated statistics just to get some effect sizes and say something about the importance of interventions, for example, and stuff like that. So Dr. Gary said, since those academic publishers do not make the content available, how can we get around it? Can we get around it in an intelligent way? And Alice suggested, oh my God,
I don't want to put it as a yes here. I mean,
maybe, yeah, maybe.
Because there's no way we can, for sure.
We're not sure. We don't know for sure.
Even
if it's pulling the correct data.
So what you can do, some of the chatbots, they give you space to design their, so you can input the data. So you find a list of articles you think are relevant to your field. And then you download that data, you can input into the chatbot, not as a prompt, but while training the chatbot.
Okay.
When you're training the chatbot. And then it will use that data to answer you.
You see, so that is already another types of device that we put in, because this is what we control.
Because this is what we put.
Yeah.
And so it's another bias because I am selecting the articles.
Yes.
Right. So so really
Anyway, this might be another.
but this is very nice. Okay, here's what we're talking about in case you can hear the conversations. I'm talking to the online audience. What if we want to do a meta-analysis? This is an idea. So there is a bias in this because there is another way for the tool to do it directly. And if it does it, we are not sure if it locates articles that really exist. So what we do, and we will do it, should we do it? We can create our own chatbot.
You can actually try.
Okay, let's do it now. Here's what we will do. We will create our own research assistant. This is gonna be our own chatbot, right? Because we want to train our chatbot to do the things that we want the chatbot to do. Yes, okay. Step one, let's show them how to do that.
Go to create.
What time do we have? I have.
I think
This is
45.
interesting. 45 minutes only?
One thing which we can do today, you can train the bot on your own writing style. So many of the people here, when they're using chatbot, if you put in a detector, it will say it is generated by AI. Now, what you can do, all of your researchers, you write a lot, right? So you can, when you create your bot, like over there on the top left, you have create bot. When you create it,
let's do it.
Yes,
Let's do that.
step.
Okay, let's do it step by step. Okay, so we're on the same track. Let's see, online audience, you're fine, no questions. Okay, go to where I am showing you on the red dot on the screen. And do create bot. Click on that.
So give it some nice handle name.
Okay. When you have the time, just put your picture because it's gonna be your own chatbot, intelligent chatbot, an avatar for you. Okay, the first thing that we need to give is a handle. So a handle is
This is just a unique classifier.
it's a unique classifier for the system If we keep whatever it gives us, that would be fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can keep this for now.
Yeah, we can keep the handle, but actually, if you don't want to have this sequence, this string here, and you want something simpler, you can actually do somewhere between 4 and 20 characters. Just make sure you include letters, numbers, dash, and underscores only, nothing else. Because I tried it last night and it didn't work.
You can give it a
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, it doesn't take symbols, for example, only dashes and underscores. Okay. Now, what will the bot will be doing? Okay,
So,
use prompt
or use server. So you can
or
have an
use
API.
server.
You can create an API for some other application, but in this case, let's just use prompt.
If you want to create an API, you use the server. But today, for this workshop, let's do use prompt, just for the purposes of this. But if you want to do an API, if you don't know what an API is, Google it. Everybody talks about APIs these days. So Google API.
It's very, very simple, easy to understand. It's just how two applications interact with each other.
How to make applications interact with each other. Basically, how to make when people talk to each other. Okay, instead of having people, you have applications. Okay, you need to create an API to do that. Not a complicated thing. So let's just use prompt. Base bot. We want a chatbot.
It's chatbot.
Yeah.
There are different types. So if you click on it, there are different language models you can use. So
Okay, we have click on the down arrow. And you can actually DALL-E is good for pictures, good for art teachers. If you're an art teacher, use DALL-E or DALL-E, as I like calling it. And then you have all these other things. Oh my God, so many things here.
Maybe it's worth saying that for pictures, Stable Diffusion XL is the free one.
yes.
See, the DALL-E 3, you'd have to subscribe.
It says that limited access.
DALL-E, you have to subscribe, but this is for
Limited access.
But Stable
limited
Diffusion
access.
that also will generate images
Yes.
for you. So if you want to do an art project
Yes.
and you don't want to pay, that's
Stable Diffusion.
Stable Diffusion.
Okay, so a suggestion for the audience, if you want to create an art project, just go to Stable Diffusion, yes? And it will allow you to create pictures. Basically, what you do, you have to describe the picture in words, just typing in the description, and then the tool will give you a very nice picture. So Stable Diffusion XL will give you pictures for free. But for DALL-E, you have to subscribe, you have to pay. And the last time I paid was 20, it's expensive. DALL-E is very expensive. It's 20 euros for a limited number of pictures. Yes. So, okay, great. Stable Diffusion XL. Very nice.
We have other models as well. So if you're creating a general bot, ChatGPT is good. But if you're creating maybe like a chat bot for faster communication, then cloud is a good idea. You can also have Google Palm model. I don't think it's shown over here, but if you have a paid version, you can have many different large language models with different type of tasks. But
Okay.
let's use ChatGPT for this.
Right. Okay, let's move on. We're using ChatGPT for this.
And we go down. Now, this is the part where you have to give the reflexivity of the bot, like its personality. So one trick which you can use, if you want the bot to use your way of writing, you can find some of your written text, and then you can give it instructions to use the same language features. You can also create a list of vocabulary for it to use, the kind of words you use, the kind of expressions you use. So basically, you can create a miniature version of you, and then it can write emails for you in your language. So then it will not be, it's not plagiarized, and the issue we have many times. So.
Okay, so a suggestion here from the audience. When you prompt it, you need to be able to train it in some way so it replies to you. Remember, this is your personal assistant. So it replies to you in a way that mimics your own practices. Okay, we have suggestions from the audience. Ali, first suggestion.
So the first thing I will do, I will give it a name. So let's give it a name to give it some personal touch.
So we just words.
Yeah. So let's think of a name, for instance.
What do you want to call our chatbot? This is our
research assistant.
Research assistant. So type in research assistant.
Like if you say just research assistant, then the language will not be personal. So
Right,
you say
your role.
So you are yes, a research assistant.
You are just talk to it as you speak to a person.
Yes.
You are a research assistant. You're instructing it. Go on.
Who specializes in educational research.
Who specializes
In educational research.
in educational research. The professors here, including myself, are thinking about how we grade.
Hire them as a future teacher.
Yes, exactly. So
And then you give it, it's like, it must have some bachelor's education, master's education.
so you're a research assistant who specializes in educational research. Let's give it more credentials. You have
A bachelor's
degree,
in
a
computer
bachelor's degree in computer science. Oh my God, this is great. This is great. In computer science and a master's degree
education.
in educational technology.
Or instructional.
In instructional technology, say in education or instructional technology.
We have to be specific. If we say or.
It's huge, it's humongous.
Yes,
Yes,
or.
the set is bigger if you say or. In instructional technology, be more specific.
Because each extra is another decision tree, like another branch.
Another branch,
Exactly.
exactly. In instructional technology, fine.
We can, in the very beginning, we say, you are Alex, for instance. So, you're Alex. If we say your name is Alex, then it still behaves like a chatbot in my experience.
Okay, you are Alex.
So it is more.
You are Alex, you're Alexis, we like Alexis.
And then you put.
Alexis is better.
And then
You're Alexis.
Yeah.
So, if you say your name is Alexis, is different than you are Alexis.
Yes.
Because when you say your name is Alexis, it is still a chatbot named Alexis, but you are Alexis. It's more of a direct way of addressing it as a human.
And then you can give it some more traits, personality traits. So you're Alexis, you're a very hardworking person, very polite, and very obedient.
You are Alexis. You are a very hardworking.
I think you can guess very detailed, but does it really matter?
If you try different ways, the output changes. Especially the language, the way it follows your instructions.
Well, in a sense, yes, you're creating more branches, but does it really go to a particular?
The quality of the output changes.
Singularities where,
The granularity changes and the quality of the outcome changes.
So if you give it more specific prompts, the hallucination decreases. Now,
And the hallucination
because we're giving
decreases.
it a reflexivity now. So within the corpus, language corpus, there are people with this type of reflexivity. So we want these people because these people in the corpus are consistent. But if somebody who is agitated, angry, on the web, right? If that kind of thing creeps into the outputs, then the output will become half charge.
I guess it's very interesting because when we are looking into the terms hardworking.
Yes,
I mean,
what does it mean,
but
right?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, the same
Exactly.
definition.
Exactly, biases, yes,
Biases, I think
bias.
it's always a very.
Yeah, but that's why we do it because, yes, a question would be, what does it mean to be hardworking?
Because it is also trained on, for example, like you write personal statements or you give recommendations. So recommendations are also internet, right? So like a recommendation for your student, a good student. So how would you write it? A hardworking individual, this and that. So it will copy those traits from that.
Yeah.
So you're right, semantic can have a different interpretation of hardworking.
Yeah.
In some certain situations, it becomes more specific.
Okay, let's finish this.
Yeah.
You are a very hardworking person
And polite. Hardworking and polite.
and friendly and
Friendly.
polite. Friendly is good. Friendly and polite. You are a research assistant who specializes in educational research. You have a bachelor's degree in computer science and a master's degree in instructional technology. That's enough for our activity. Okay, so you need to give it an identity, basically, so he knows exactly how to look at things. You remember, we're doing research, right? I mean, we are exploring the affordances of the tool. I mean, nothing is set in stone here, but I mean, we are educational researchers and we're trying to make sense out of this tool. We're teachers, we're trying to find the best way to talk with the tool. Okay, so we're trying out these strategies just to see if the quality of the output changes.
Now we have to give it the task it will receive. So
Okay.
you will receive a variety of tasks. And then we will specify what type of the way it produce output. So in that area, you can give it a specialized text from the way you want it to write, your own text, large amount of it, and it will write like you. So in this case, for the simplicity of time, we can say you will be given a variety of tasks.
You will be given, now we are informing it about the tasks. You will be given
A variety of research related tasks.
Of research
We have to be more specific, but for now, let's.
related tasks.
Yes. In the outputs, keep it succinct, keep it short.
And please
The outputs,
keep the outputs short,
to the point, and no need for excessive descriptions, which is a problem. You know, sometimes.
short with not a lot of detail
Yeah, details. Should be fine.
of details.
I think let's try with this for now. You can
Okay,
actually write a lot of if you want.
all right.
And then you can have a greeting message.
So we informed it about the task and how we wanted to display our outputs, and then go down towards this greeting message. And this is how it will be greeting us, right?
Yes.
How would you like your research assistant to greet you every morning? Good morning, good afternoon.
How may I help you? How do you manage your service?
How can I best
Serve you.
serve you?
If the greeting message is not polite and not friendly.
It's just it doesn't matter because it's not.
Today.
Fixed.
Yeah.
It's just for.
I'm just thinking, I mean, it's a dilemma, right?
And sometimes some people like have the explore boards, they have like their prompts are like 2,000, 3,000 words, like in the beginning, just to train it, give it that very unique reflexive thing. And
Okay, so this is the greeting message.
you can go to advanced now.
Just click on the advanced
And,
feature.
This, you can play with the temperature over here. So as Dr. Ken would explain better.
Yeah, so
This is important for our example.
yeah, a little bit. So
little bit, okay.
temperature has to do with how creative or how repetitive it is in some sense. So that the higher the temperature, the more unusual things it'll say, which is especially good if you're asking it to be. In this
Unlike
context, you
it-
must want it to be too creative.
Okay,
So I suggest, I personally like about 0.72.
7.2.
Because we need some more creativity sometimes there, but
Yeah.
you can try lower setting or greater setting as well. So custom temperature.
Okay, so the custom temperature has to do with
Predictability.
the predictability of the algorithm and how valid the outcomes will be. So from the audience here, the real audience in the classroom, they say that basically they like something around 0.72.
72. What's 8?
Or 80.
It's 2.
Put it
I think around.
down,
Is it really? So.
You can play around with the temperature. You can play around with the temperature. So if it's higher than 72, you may get stuff that
Above 80 actually.
above 80. So okay, the cutoff point, so you know it's about 80. Above 80 is highly
It starts becoming a bit more
unreal.
abstract.
Abstract. Okay, it's more abstract, becomes a bit of too abstract. Above 80 and below 80, it's more understandable, basically more
You
usable.
can also try with very low settings.
But you can actually play with it. Yes, you can
Yeah.
actually play
Depending
with
on the
it and
use case.
see what it fits you. So the important thing to know is that the temperature has to do with the usefulness and the applicability of the material. Just play around it, just, you know, do low settings, higher settings, and see if you're satisfied with the output. But from experience, anything that's below 80, it's of better qualities.
But again, if you're asking it to help you write fiction, you probably want a higher.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Dr. Ken says, if you want to ask the tool to write a paragraph about fiction, you know, something that's fictional, you want it to be above 80. Right? Because that's the nature of the writing piece.
There's no, it's like subjective.
Right. I mean, you don't care if it gives you unreal stuff, unrealistic, you know, just things that will not happen because that's fiction.
Yes.
So make sure that you know exactly what you're looking for. So this feature is very nice it's very nice for language teachers, to experiment with different genres of writing, different ways of writing, types of writing. Yeah, it's very nice. Okay, so.
And you can.
I wonder if the bot profile is what we were doing before, because the bot profile sounds like very much what we typed before, who you are and what your role is. So why isn't it?
Bot profile is for the
Copy-paste.
audience, for people when, so many of these bots, you can put them online for other people to use.
Oh,
So this is for other people's
support.
You can actually sell your bot. You can actually market your bot.
Subscription. So if you bring subscription,
You can, if you decide to do this curiously, you can actually have people subscribe to your bot and get money.
money out.
Yeah, get money. So the bot profile is when you market. There's a marketplace. You can, you know, market your bot over there. And for people to really see what the bot does, you have to put in a very short bio. So they decide if they want to subscribe or not. It's amazing, isn't it?
And the best thing is, especially if you learn the API one, you can create a lot of scraping bots.
Yeah.
Go on internet and condense information for you. So a lot of people, even in data science and in language, they have large amount of data, they want to do it. They use these kind of things a lot.
So let's see, access. Are we gonna keep our bot
I personally, you can, if you want them.
you can make it public, or if you change it, just keep it private for now, because we're experimenting, just to be safe, on the safe side. Just keep it private for now. So change the setting. And monetization is what we talked about. You know, if you make it public, you can have people subscribe to it, but make sure it's a useful bot. It knows a lot of things.
It is
And
not
then
a
you can share money from this. It's amazing, actually.
And we just created that.
Okay, and then down to create bot. Click on that. I have 5 more tools. Besides this. I know, it's very interesting, but I get this just for you to go and look at them because they're very nice.
Let's give it a try.
Okay, here is our bot. How can I best serve you today?
Ask a technical question, I believe.
Okay, let's come to it.
You know, now you don't need to follow the entire prompting anymore. You can just ask a direct question, and because we already trained its
Right, it knows that it's an educational researcher, it has a master's degree, so just go directly to the question.
Yes.
Let's see, what if we type, we're having a research seminar tomorrow.
Yes.
What is the difference between design-based research, DBR, methodology, and experimental methodology?
Let's do that.
So let's do that, right? Okay, what is the difference between DBR, design-based research, methodology, and experimental methodology? You can actually talk to it too, right? Yeah, you can actually talk to it. You don't have to type. If you want to talk to it, just press on this record button over here and will allow you to have a conversation.
Upload files as well.
And you can upload files as well, exactly. All right, so this is good. I mean, okay, stop for a sec. If you use the tools, for example, in pre-primary education or first grade, and you want to create pictures for an essay that your students write, and the students are not in a position to type in the right prompt because their language skills are not well developed, just have them come to the bot, just record, just click on the audio button and ask them to talk to the tool clearly. And then the tool will get the directions, the instructions for the picture, and it will allow the students to have a picture. So it's very nice for students who do not have their English or language skills, let's just say, well developed, right? Written, in writing, I mean, but they can talk, they can describe it. So they will listen to the student and the tool will produce the pictures for you. Very nice. Okay, let's click on the go button and let's see. Design-based research methodology and experimental methodology are both research approaches used in educational research, but they differ in their focus and methods. And it goes on and it goes on, and it gives you a lot of things which are very nice. DPR typically involves collaboration between researchers and practitioners. Yes, it sure does. On the other hand, experimental methodology is more controlled. It establishes cause and effect relationships. It has variables, very nice manipulation of variables. And in summary, design-based research methodology focuses on developing and refining interventions. That's why we use it in instructional technology in real-world, authentic context, whereas experimental methodology establishes causal relationships in controlled experiments.
So,
okay, now, very nice, 100%. Sure, correct, valid information. Then,
now we have this information now, right? Now we can ask it, what was the original prompt? Now you can, or you can try another technique. Write the same prompt in a different conversation with the same bot. Does it generate the same thing? So if it generates consistently the same thing, then we're certain we're targeting the right context.
Okay, so let's check if this information is valid. If you don't have the knowledge, then you need to make sure it's valid. So let's go through a technique.
So we copy this.
We need to copy this.
Yes.
So just go up where the 3 horizontal dots are and just do copy message.
Yes. And then we go to new chat.
Copy message. Hold on, we have a question. No. Chat.
New chat on the right side, below the bot. On the top right.
Yes, Rachel, exactly what you wrote. It's not a generic bot anymore, but it's a bot that is trained to your own needs. Exactly what you wrote in the chat. Okay, so now to validate this, if we are not sure, go to new chat on the right side. Yes.
Yeah.
New chat. And type in now, just do a control V. Control V. Feed this information. Okay. It's in.
And no, we also have to add something before the information. So we have to say.
Oh, we didn't give it the task.
It will start analyzing it otherwise because
yes, exactly. I forgot to give the task. Okay, so we will provide. I will provide you. I will provide you
an output generated by a
chatbot. Output. I will provide you. I forgot to ask to tell you what to do. I will provide you with an output generated by a chatbot.
What was the prompt?
Right?
Yes.
You're there? And I would like you to tell me what
was the original prompt.
Was the original prompt. Remember, we are testing this through a new chat, not the same chat as the previous one. So I will provide you with an output generated by a chatbot, and I would like you to tell me what was the original prompt. That no.
And then we go down, like we have to create another section separately. So I think enter twice, and then we call it the output, and then we put the dashes and put the output there.
You want to do it in this okay, and now
provide the output.
it's asking now for the output. So here, go to the previous chat.
Copy.
Do we have it?
Yes, so control V.
Just control. We have it. Yes, we have it. So just type in the chart that we copied before, and go. Okay. So this is the answer. The original prompt was likely asking for a comparison between design-based research methodology and experimental methodology in educational research. Yes.
It is narrowed it down. So this means that it's called flow of thought. The flow of thought is consistent both ways.
Exactly.
So it still can have inaccurate information.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a human being now.
Right.
So it's consistent in both ends.
It's a way to establish convergence.
Yes.
It's a way to establish convergence between the prompts, and it's a way, as we said before, we can never be 100% sure. Compared to the human knowledge, to the knowledge that I have, I am 100% sure that this output is valid. But if I didn't have the knowledge, then I'm going through these techniques to minimize error, basically. And this is the best we can do. Of course, this is the initial step, and then you have to go to Google Scholar, go to any of the other academic databases, and target your search, and critically think about the outcomes of those databases. So I think it's a way to shorten your searches. It's a way to make your search more focused down the line. Yeah, instead of having to search a humongous space, just narrow it down. Yeah, so it makes you more productive, more efficient.
Another thing that Dr. Ken were discussing.
Yeah, maybe I'll explain. So I think this was not a very good example, because the default behavior of the vanilla bot is to be sort of like a research assistant.
Yes.
So I tried answering, the same question, but then I tried making a bot that's pretending to be an 11-year-old that teachers could practice with. And then you ask this 11-year-old to explain photosynthesis, and you get something that's much more like an 11-year-old talking about it. And then you get a conversation trying to deal with some misconceptions.
Yes, I did the same thing. Okay, here's another good idea for teachers. I'll put a context around this. Oxford University, your university, has a variety of summer courses, and they invite young learners from 13 to 15 years of age every summer, and they provide a number of courses: medicine, archaeology, technology, AI courses, stuff like that. But to accept those students, they need to write a 500-word essay. And they give them a variety of subjects. So I was playing with that the other day, and I trained the bot, and I said, you are a 13-year-old female student, you are in 8th grade, you really want to join Oxford University for medicine this summer, please write an essay with the following topic. And then it wrote an essay, and then I created another chatbot, I fed it back, and I said, is this an essay that a 13-year-old student can write? And he said, yes, but you can simplify it. And I said, please replace the words that you think are too difficult for a 13-year-old student. And he kept on paraphrasing. And it reached a point, listen to this, it reached a point that I said, how would you rate this? And he said, well, it gets 4.8 out of 5. we submitted it to the Oxford Institute. We submitted it to the Oxford Institute. We got first class.
Another thing
You see, I mean, we worked a lot with it. It took us like a week, you know, back and forth. But yes, it was successful.
Another thing you can do is you can create bots representing your students, and then you can have APIs, and then bots can interact in a sandbox. So it can be a virtual classroom with students representing different types of like special education needs students, some students having ADHD, and then they have these responses, and then you can simulate. Simulation could be another way. So we did try, I have tried experimenting with 2 or 3 people having communication. So 2 or 3 APIs.
What time do we have?
So 10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes, no, 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes. Okay, so we will stop with ChatGPT because we can be doing this forever. The possibilities are endless. Here is one last suggestion. We're not gonna do it by your own. Create, remember when we had chat only API on the other side? Go back, try the API, and you can create a bot for each one of your students. Have the APIs, using the APIs to interact and simulate your classroom. Try that. If you can't get it run, just email me. I will guide you through. But basically, you can create a simulation. Simulations are excellent environments because through simulations, our students, your students develop abstract thinking, computational thinking. Thinking about, you think about it in abstract terms. So try it again through API, through the API mechanism, create a chatbot for each one of your students in the classroom. Through the API, have them interact, create a simulation, and then play with it. If you can't get it done, email, that's one way of getting in touch with me. So we can keep on working with this. And we will show you how you do it. Any questions at this point? I would like to show you 4 other tools. I'm not gonna, we will play with one tool, but anyways, I have the information there for you in the Google Classroom and you can access them anytime you want. Are you ready to move on? How are you feeling? Give me a reaction. Online space, how do you feel? How are you? Reactions. Are you there? How are the people here? Helpful? Yes. Okay. Let's move on. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go back to the to my PowerPoint. All right, we're back to the power. You have this PowerPoint, it's in my Google Classroom materials. So you can come to it anytime you want. All right, let me just talk about 4 other tools, and then we have time to just see one of these. If you want to create resources for assessment, meaning anything about interactive assignments, anything about efficient grading, data analysis and stuff like that, the tool to use is DFID. DFID. It's online, it's free for you. So just go there, it's very self-explanatory, it's very easy to use. Look at it, if you have questions, email. So it's a very quick way to create assessments for your students.
So I got a question with that.
Yes.
Because I think I've seen some research papers that it's trying to also provide kind of useful feedback. I mean, it's not just assessing, but giving.
Yes, it does. It will allow you to, yes, to give them feedback. And it's very important. Dr. Ken is asking, will it allow me to also provide feedback for the students? Yes, and that's the value added of the tool, because you can actually provide feedback to the individual student. Yeah, absolutely. So it's contextualized, basically, feedback assessment. So Another tool that I think, if we were to choose which tool to look at, is Pictory. Yes, we will look at Pictory. What does Pictory do? It creates a video for you. It's amazing, amazing. And I will show you how you can give it a script, and based on the script, it will create all these images for you automatically, and will allow you to put a voice over the text if you want, and immediately you will create your own video for your own lecture. And this is very nice. I was thinking, when we want to send students at home, but we still want them to read the lecture notes, stuff like that, instead of giving them lecture notes, just use Pictory, put the script of your lecture, and Pictory will create a video of the lecture. And it will be very nice. They can listen to it while they are on the train, while they're doing something else. It's accessible, basically. So it's easier for them. So we will take a look at Pictory. Now, the other tool that I use, and I subscribe to it, is slidesai.io. I will give you a hint. Before you use slidesai.io, it works with Google Slides. So obviously, you need to have an account, a Gmail account. You all have a Gmail account. Okay, but what you have to do first, you need to install the Google Slides extension. There is an extension that you need to install first. So how do you do it? Just go to Google Slides. Just open the software. Start a new deck. Just click on the plus sign where the new deck is. Once you open the Google Slides, go to the right of the menu and you will see extensions. Drop down, select add-ons, and then select get add-ons. That will open the Google workspace, the marketplace, and search for slidesai.io. It will immediately locate the extension and will download it. Once you download it, go back to you are in the environment of Google Slides AI, and to generate slides. It will ask you to give it context, so use your ChatGPT to create the content, do all the tricks that we learned today, copy paste the text into Slides AI, and it will create amazing slides. The slides that I have are created with slidesai.io. So these are the slides that the tool created for me. Of course, not exactly the automatic outputs. I customized it, right? But this is the outline, the design that he gave me. Yeah. Okay. So highly recommend slidesai.io. I actually bought it. All right, I love Magic School.ai. It will allow you to create lesson plans, not just any lesson plan. Very nice lesson plans. Amazing stuff. For each lesson plan, you can personalize, you can differentiate, Dr. Kane, you can have instant feedback generation. So it can provide this contextualized feedback. You can create worksheets. You can create assessment for the lesson plan. You can create any materials for your course based on this lesson plan. You can create any resources that you want to print out maybe and take to the classroom with you. So it will make you so productive. It will take away from you the burden of looking for resources. I ask you to create games, ask you to create energizers, any collaborative activities. Just know your learning theories well. That's where the knowledge about learning theories comes in. Know your learning theories well and think of any keywords, social construction, create an activity to engage them in cognitive conflict. Put those in and it will give you activities. And of course, you have to go through the process of evaluating the validity of the activities, but it will give you everything. Maybe we will not have books, you know, in the near future. I don't believe that the idea of a teacher will go away because we need the human touch and the human interaction. But I think we will not have books in the future. We will have stuff like this. Yeah, if we train them well and, and if we develop them the right way. Okay, so Magic School is I like it very much. And the last tool that I really highly recommend is Education Copilot, an excellent tool for you. I chose the ones that are generous in terms of giving you a lot of affordances because there are plenty. I mean, I asked ChatGPT last night how many AI tools are available for teachers, and it gave me a number of about 300. But some of them, you know, they're nice, but they're not fully available. Not all the affordances are available. And the ones that I gave you here, they are very generous. They give us a lot of stuff, that we can do. And as I said yesterday, when it comes to TPCK, my criteria are always tools that have a very low learning curve, because I don't want the emphasis to be on the tool. I want the emphasis to be on the design, learning design with the tool. So, and also tools that provide a lot of free affordances to you. And these are excellent tools. Okay, so the time is
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right, 2 minutes. Oh no, 2 minutes. Let's go really quickly just to Pictory. Let's move to Pictory really quickly. Just to look at the interface. I have 2 minutes. Look at the interface only. It's really nice. Very nice. Just look at the affordances.
No, we're not seeing it though.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Okay, I'm back in Google. Just type in Pictory. I never remember all the Pictory. Choose the first one, Pictory AI. Click on it. Here it is. Okay, it gives you a little bit of, the introduction. Get started for free, no credit card required. I hate it when they say you have 30 days and then give me your credit card. I just hate it when they do that, you know?
Yeah.
You can ask for my credit card after the 30 days, right? Yeah, but that's why the filter is nice. Get started for free, no credit card required. This is what we want, right? Ask me. Okay, continue with Google. Choose your Google account. Welcome back. Go ahead and sign in. It will recognize me. There you go, with my name. All right. Let's look at the interface and the affordances. For your first wonderful, exciting video, choose the first one, script for V2 video. So you need to provide a script and it will transform, remember transformation, content transformation that we were talking yesterday. These tools give you transformed content. So you're giving a script, symbolic, a symbolic representation, and it's gonna give you back a dynamic representation, a video. So proceed. Proceed. Give it a name. So let's say technological. This is a video about technological, pedagogical content knowledge. You can play with these settings. You can do it on your own time. And then start typing here the script. So what you do is you move to your chat GPT, you use all the techniques that we learned today, and you copy the script from chat GPT, you come to this space and you say Control V, right? So you have the script. Can you spare 2 minutes so we can do it? Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's do it. Okay, let's move on to our bot. Here it is. Let me share my screen. Oh. Okay. And let's just say, please write a description about the framework of technological content knowledge. Please do not write more than 10 lines. Please write a description of the framework of technological, pedagogical, yes, content knowledge. Please do not write more than 10 lines. I have my Grammarly here and it corrects everything. Okay, just go. Okay, so this is it. It's about the topic of yesterday's seminar. All right, here it is. If you think it's too long, you can say, please make it shorter. And it's gonna write less. Okay, let's just say we like this. Go up where it's the beginning of the text. Go to the 3 horizontal dots and choose copy message. Copy message. Go back to Pictory. Here's Pictory. Do a Control V, and this is our text. If you have Grammarly installed, it will correct the stuff that doesn't like I'm doing right now. There you go. It's very meticulous, you know, with these things. Okay, then this is the text. Spell check, yes. Go up on the top to the right, proceed. Click on it, proceed. It has a number of styles. Choose a template. All right, which template do we want? Just for the sake of our example, I don't know, just for business. And then choose the aspect ratio. Let's do 16:9. And watch the magic. All right, so it's analyzing. It's gonna take a few seconds. And we can do a few things. Afterwards, we can find relevant visuals. We can add our voice. Actually, we can add voice narration using some of the characters that the tool has, or we can record our own voice, of course. And here it is. Amazing. This is a video, and now let's just say we want to record our own voice. So choose the third one. Record your voice and synchronize in seconds. Click on it. And it's gonna take you to here. It's gonna tell you what to do, basically. It's gonna give you a video that you can watch. Okay, fine, but this is how we do it. Go to the first scene, say scene 1. This is the first scene. You see the how the tool created the first scene using this picture. Click on, let's see, let me get my my pen here so I can show you where you go. Go here to this button over here. Okay, so click on it and choose record voice over. Click on it, and it's gonna give you, you know, this this button. Press to record. Press to record. Click on it. Technological pedagogical content knowledge, TPCK, is a framework that focuses on the intersection of technology, pedagogy, and content knowledge in educational settings. Stop. Apply. Let me clear all drawings. There you go. And do a scene preview. To see if you like it, basically. Oh, I don't have my my audio is off. My audio is off because of the setup in this room, so you can't hear anything. So you basically can hear your voice, see if you like it. If you don't like how it sounds, just record over it, another one, and keep doing this for all scenes. And when you are ready, the only thing that you have to do, the last thing that you have to do is download. Download your video, and you will have your video ready in seconds. And that will be all. So no more searchers on YouTube. Try to develop your script. We still have to do a lot of work in terms of writing things down, but that's you know, that's our own materials, right? And then use these tools to create resources, digital resources for your students. All right, I think that's the end for today's workshop. Thank you so very much, everybody here and in the online space. I would love to hear from you. I will be here until, let's see, I'm leaving on Saturday afternoon, but Cyprus is only 9.5 hours away. And really, it's not a long trip. It's really nice. So feel free to email me. Thank you to Rachel and everybody. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.